Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Go Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupada Paramahansa Paribhajacharya Ashto Tarata Sisi Mahat Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading today, Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 7th chapter, text number 55. Etavam eva lokesmin Saswata parashmita Ekanta bhakti govinde Yat sarvatra tad ikshanam Etavan eva lokesmin Pumsa swata parashmita Ekanta bhaktir govinde Yat sarvatra tad ikshanam Etavan eva lokesmin Pumsa swata parashmita Ekanta bhaktir govinde Yat sarvatra tad ikshanam Ekanta bhaktir govinde Yat sarvatra tadikshanam Lokeshmin Pumasma tadashmita Ekanta bhaktir govinde Yasavata tadikshanam Etavaneva lokeshmin Pumsasvata parashmita Ekanta bhaktir govinde Yat sarvatra tadikshanam Etavaneva lokesmin Pumsa swata parashmita Ekanta bhaktir govinde Yada sarva tadikshanam Vaishnavis Etavaneva lokeshmin Udvasvata parashmita Ekanta bhaktir govinde Yat sarvata tadikshanam Yadantika lokeshmin Pumsa swata parashmita ekanta bhakti Govinde. Etavan, this much, Eba, certainly, loke asmin, in this material world, pumsa, of the living entity, swa-artha, the real self-interest, para, transcendental, smita, regarded, ekanta bhakti, unalloyed devotional service, Govinde, to Govinda, yat, which, sarvatra, everywhere, tat ikshanam, seeing the relationship with Govinda, Krishna. Krishna. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. In this material world, to render service to the lotus feet of Govinda, the cause of all causes, and to see him everywhere, is the only goal of life. This much alone is the ultimate goal of life, of human life, as explained by all the revealed scriptures. Everyone can please repeat. In this material world, to render service to the lotus feet of Govinda, the cause of all causes, and to see him everywhere, is the only goal of life. This much alone is the ultimate goal of human life, as explained by all the revealed scriptures. Purport. In this verse, the words sarvatra tat ikshanam describe the highest perfection of devotional service, in which one sees everything with reference to Govinda's activities. The highly elevated devotee never sees anything unrelated to Govinda. Stavara jangama deke na deke taramurti sarvatrahaya nija ishta devas purti. The Mahabhagavat, the advanced devotee, certainly sees everything mobile and immobile, but he does not exactly see their forms. Rather, everywhere he immediately sees manifest the form of the Supreme Lord. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 8:274. Om Jnanatimirandasya Garam Janashrakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mayam Dadati Shvapadantiya Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirdvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Dashatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadha Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the position of Prahlada Maharaj, Mahabhagavat. The Mahabhagavat is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam that Sarvabhutichu Ya Pasyad sees everything, matter, spirit, the combination, otherwise everything, not just the deity or something that some spiritual icon or some spiritual representation, but sees everything, whether it be ordinary matter a combination of matter and spirit, which means the living entities, or spirit itself, which means the living entity, the pure living entity, and the Supreme Personality of God. It sees them all the same. Bhagavad Bhavam Atmana. That this verse describing the Mahabhagavat has three aspects. First, he sees all living entities and all things in relation to Krishna. And Bhagavad Bhavam. Bhagavad Bhavam means the ability to see how everything is used in Krishna's service. And therefore Srila Prabhupada says here, in the first part of the purport, with reference to Govinda's activities. Otherwise, Govinda's activities for a pure devotee of the Lord sees everything is involved in glorifying Krishna. There's nothing outside of glorifying Krishna. And Atmana sees the Supreme Lord, that Supreme all-pervading Lord. But in this particular case, doesn't just see as Paramatma. Just like in Bhagavad Gita, it says that sarvabhutastam atmanam, that to see everything in relation to Paramatma, and sarvabhutani chatmani, and all living entities also in relation to ikshate, yoga yuktatma. That is the vision of someone who really understands yoga. Not just the modern yogis go for 1 or 2 hours into the yoga studio, and then they consider themselves, and when there's some bhajan, they wave their heads in a fully realized, to show that I'm fully realized, even though I may not be. And so, sarvatra samadarshina, they see everything equally. But in this case, what's being described here, a devotee of the Lord, like Prahlada Maharaj, he sees everything as Krishna further describes in Bhagavad Gita, yo mam pashyati sarvatra, that I see one who sees me in everything, sarvam chamai pashyati, and sees everything within me, tasyaham na pranashyami. That person will always be united with me. They'll never be separated from me. Sachame na pranashyati. And I will never be separated from them. They will never be separated from me. So this is the highest vision. Shukadev Goswami, when he's speaking to all different varieties of living entities. Therefore the Bhagavatam is so complete, because it deals with philosophy, it deals with lila, it deals with so many things. And so then Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, the 8th chapter, with the conversations between Ramananda Rai and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now this particular verse appears just before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals himself. But already in a few previous verses, Ramananda Rai is saying that, no, the Supreme Lord, I see that you are Shyamasundar. No. You're identifying yourself as a Mayavadi sannyasi. No. That's how you identify yourself. But I see you as Shyamasundar. I see there's no difference. No. And he continues to glorify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way. And then he says this, that actually, whether it be immovable things or movable things, whatever it is, a devotee only has one vision of everything, movable, unmovable, everything. He sees it as a manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now we all understand this. We understand this principle. It's there in Bhagavad Gita. But to understand it is one thing. To realize it is another thing. Otherwise we can understand, yes, everything's in Krishna. But when I go outside, I see this person, I see man and woman and this and that and brown and black and white, different types of bodies. And I think in these terms, imposed by the modes of material nature, imposed by the ahankar, that I have to see this way. And this causes so many problems. Even when we're trying to advance the devotional service. Just like many of you are brahmacharis, some of you aspiring brahmacharis, some are grihastas. But all of this is just functional. It's just for function. But a devotee, if we're actually devotees, we don't see any difference. We don't see the brahmachari, we don't see the grihasta. We see difference in terms of their function. But we don't see difference in terms, therefore we never discriminate. But so the Bhagavat, the Uttama Adhikari had described, first he sees everything in relation to Krishna. Then he sees every living entity within Krishna. Then he sees that Krishna is Bhutani, Bhagavat Yatman. He sees that everything is coming from the cause of all causes. And therefore, Yesha Bhagavatottamaha. Therefore, this is the highest devotee. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada identifies the difference between the Kanishta, the Madhyam, and Uttamadhikari. He says, Kanishta is attracted to the deity in some aspects of external devotional service, but does not understand and this warning is there many places in the Bhagavatam, and Srila Prabhupada puts it in Bhagavad Gita in the purport to 9:11. If you see the deity, but you don't see the deity within the heart of every living entity, then you cannot make very rapid progress in devotional service. So seeing the deity, the Lord reveals himself in the deity form for those who have materialistic consciousness. Generally speaking, they will come before the deity and they will pray for something. Of course, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the 5th canto, in the prayers of Prahlada Maharaj to Nrsimhadev, in the purport, he says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has said that you can't approach the Lord without asking for something. Because, as it says here, the cause of all causes. So you have to ask for something, because everything comes from Krishna. You have to request something. But that request, as Srila Prabhupada states in the beginning of Nectar of Devotion, should be, please give me devotional service. As we pray to Tulsi Devi, please give me the privilege of devotional service. Privilege. So that word is very important now. Adhikar. Please give me this adhikar, which means it's not automatic, not something that I own. It's something that Krishna bestows upon us. Although in the Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, in the prayers of Brahma, he says that actually it is our natural state. And therefore, it is our natural inheritance that we should receive prema bhakti, because it's the natural state of the living entity. But it's not automatic. It requires surrender. And so, one thing also in the verse, well, in the translation, Srila Prabhupada's translation, Ekanta Bhaktir Govinde, exclusive, unalloyed devotional service to Govinda. And then Srila Prabhupada, although it's not in the verse, Srila Prabhupada said, the lotus feet of Govinda, the cause of all causes. This is the brilliance of Srila Prabhupada's translation. There are two types of translations. One is literal. Now you can get all kinds of, expert Sanskrit personality, they will translate it in a certain way according to the words. But a realized translation means that the devotee understands. He may say things that you may not encounter in the verse itself, because he's adding realization. So where did Srila Prabhupada take that from? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. That when Jiva Goswami explains this verse, Ishvara Parama Krishna, long purport, very long purport, many pages. And he says that everything is contained in the word Krishna. Therefore, Ishvara Parama is to prepare one who doesn't understand that everything is within Krishna. Prepare them for the word Krishna. Because within Krishna is everything. Ishvara, he's automatically the Supreme Lord. And devotees won't see him in that way. Pure devotees won't see him as Ishvara. Especially those who are in Vrindavan Ras of, Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, Madhurya Ras. They'll never see Krishna as Ishvara. The Ishvara of their heart, yes, but not the Ishvara of this world, not the Supreme Person within the three worlds, within unlimited universes. No. They'll see him as the Lord of my heart. And so everything is contained. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Govinda Maharaj, he told me that when he gave a set of Prabhupada's Bhagavatam to his Sanskrit teacher, who was a devotee, and he said, "This is the most perfect translation I have ever seen of the Bhagavatam. It is fully realized." Now, some people who think themselves very intelligent, they think, oh, Srila Prabhupada is not translating literally. No, he's not. He's making sure that when you finish this Bhagavatam, you will be a devotee of Krishna. He's making sure of that in Bhagavad Gita. Just like our acharyas, when it says Brahman, they say Brahman. But when it says Brahman and Prabhupada sees it, he says Krishna. No, because otherwise we would become confused. No, there's so much impersonal philosophy around us. If we see Brahman, we'll think, oh, yes, Brahman, Krishna is Brahman. Yeah, no. But everything's included. So, such a wonderful translation Srila Prabhupada gives of everything. He makes sure that we will dedicate our lives to Krishna. That is his protection. The duty of the Acharya is to give shelter to everyone. That's why we call Prabhupada. He at whose feet even the Prabhus sit. Not just a few neophytes. Srila Prabhupada wrote one letter and he said, the duty of the Acharya is to spread the holy name everywhere to everyone, not to attract some neophyte disciples. The Acharya, many of our Acharyas, like especially Jiva Goswami, didn't initiate anyone. There was no diksha, it was all shiksha. The 6 Goswamis mostly gave shiksha. Sanatana Goswami initiated some people, Rupa Goswami initiated some people. But the initiation they gave was Mahamantra. They didn't do the technical, diksha of giving upanaya. They left that to someone else. They gave the essence. Even up to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, even Gorkishore Das Babaji. Only Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he made it very formal. Because he was introducing Krishna consciousness to the world. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was introducing it, but he was introducing pure Krishna consciousness after Krishna consciousness had been polluted by improper understanding, by making it very cheap. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur made it what it was supposed to be. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took all of that knowledge and applied it in a systematic way. And Srila Prabhupada spread it all over the world. So this is our parampara. We're so fortunate. So, Srila Prabhupada continues, the Mahabhagavat, even in this material world, a devotee does not see materially manifested things. Instead, he sees Govinda in everything. When he sees a tree or a human being, a devotee sees them in relation to Govinda. So I've told this story many times, but I'll tell it again. It's such a nice story. True story. One young boy, he surrendered, well, he was coming to our temple in San Diego, USA. And he became young, 16 years old, 15, 16. He became absorbed. And he practically stopped studying. And his parents came and complained to the temple, "What are you doing?" So the devotee said, no, you have to study. So he tried, but he was so absorbed. The parents came back complaining. The devotee said, well, maybe you should just let him study our scriptures a little bit. Then, because he's become very fanatical. We've encouraged him to study his regular studies, but they didn't accept that. So his father decided that these people are brainwashing, because at this time this brainwashing idea was very popular. So Srila Prabhupada spoke about this. When, in 1975, he called all the leaders from everywhere, all over ISKCON, to come to Mayapur. And he was in his room, and of course his room in Mayapur was a very small room. And all these leaders, they were packed in and hanging in through the windows and listening from outside. And Prabhupada picked up his pen and looked at it for like 2 or 3 minutes. Just, everybody was, what's this? What is this? Some mystical revelation is coming. And Prabhupada said, so they are saying we are brainwashing? Yes, Prabhupada. What is the problem? If the brain is dirty, it must be washed. No. And then Prabhupada said, in any case, there is no problem, because they have no brain. No. Otherwise, you have a brain when you can understand Krishna. No. Otherwise, you're just processing information. Just like everyone is so absorbed in this chat AI, they think, but it's just gathering information. It has no realization, although it captures some of the realization of our acharyas or Srila Prabhupada's books, etc. So it may be an interesting tool, but we should not become AI scholars. No. That we put something in there and it gathers all the information. No. We should study Srila Prabhupada's books and understand systematically. Srila Prabhupada, he said in one letter, he said, no one should study my books only one subject and then another subject. He said, study them systematically. Understand the whole context. And sometimes with folio and what to speak of the AI, now, someone can sound like a scholar, for a few minutes, but then when they run out of their information, then they're simply, una mushika bhava, again, a foolish person. So anyway, this boy, his father thought he's brainwashed, and so he took him to a psychiatrist, and he wanted to commit him to an institution, psychiatric institution. So my boy, he's lost. He doesn't know what life is about. He completely doesn't understand. And then, so they admitted him, and then the psychiatrist came and he interviewed. So, do you see things differently than others? Oh, yes. Uh-huh. Yes. Do you hear things differently? Oh, yes. Uh-huh. So, he said, so there was a flower on the table. He said, so this flower, what do you see? He said, well, most people would see nice, beautiful colors, and nice fragrant. But I don't see that. He said, what I see is that something so wonderful, such a creation, which no one can imitate, no scientist, no one in modern society can create a flower. So I think, what is the intelligence behind this? It must be the Supreme Person. Because all of our science, all this knowledge, all these millenniums of study and research, they cannot do it. No. So therefore, and the psychiatrist said, where did you get this from? So he had his Bhagavad Gita, pulled out his Bhagavad Gita. He began to read Bhagavad Gita. They were there for 2 hours. Finally, the nurse came in and said, doctor, there's many patients waiting for you. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He said, call the father. Tell him to come and pick up his son. So the father came, said, wow, you really work fast. Like a few hours and he's cured. He said, so how did you do it? He said, there's nothing wrong with this boy. He's the sanest person I've ever met in my life. And so the father was, what? He started going, he went into convulsions. And they committed him. They put him in the institution. And the boy went home. Then the mother and the boy came and got the father out. So the boy, such a young boy, he understood from reading Bhagavad Gita, 16-year-old boy, no Vedic background, just a Western education. He understood from Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. He may not have realized it, but to some degree he did realize it, because he was able to convert a psychiatrist who generally think that they know everybody's mind, everybody figured out, they have their psychological charts. This is a such and such syndrome. This is such and such syndrome. This is a narcissist. This is a neurotic transformation of this and that. They have everybody figured out. But they can only go as far as the mind. They can't even understand the intelligence. And so this is what we are receiving. And therefore, next, Srila Prabhupada quotes the verse that otherwise when he hears Govinda, we might hear Govinda, and we may think, oh yes, Govinda, but what does Srila Prabhupada think? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radi Govinda Sarvakaranam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Brahma Samhita 5.1. So, this is the vision. Now, when we explain Krishna consciousness to ordinary public, we would not explain it in this way. We would explain in terms of, as Krishna. Krishna teaches us how to preach. First, you teach people that they are not this body. It's like one time a professor in France, Srila Prabhupada, when he was in France, one professor, he was a professor of Vaishnava, Vedic and Vaishnava studies. So he said, Swamiji, can you tell me about the intimate relation of Radha and Krishna? And Prabhupada said, who are you? He said, I'm Professor so-and-so. Prabhupada said, no, who are you? I'm Professor so-and-so. No, Prabhupada said, no, who are you? And so the professor turned to a devotee and said, maybe he doesn't understand my English. He said, no, he understands perfectly. He's saying, who are you? And so he was bewildered. He said, so who are you? What are you? You are a living entity. He said, we are not interested in Radha and Krishna. We are interested to understand that you are not this body. You are thinking you are this body, you are Professor so-and-so. No. And so therefore, there is no question of Radha and Krishna. No. First you understand who you are. then Krishna may reveal himself. So here, Srila Prabhupada gives the the basic understanding, the beginning of the Brahma Samhita, 29th chapter. 5th chapter. So then Srila Prabhupada continues. The test of a perfect devotee is that he sees Govinda everywhere in this universe, even in every atomic particle. Andantarista paramanu chayantaristam. This is the perfect vision of a devotee. Perfect vision. It is therefore said, Narayanam ayam dhira pasyanti paramartinaha jagat dhanamayam lubdha kamuka kamini mayam. So Srila Prabhupada translates this Puranic verse. A devotee sees everyone and everything in relation with Narayan. Narayanam ayam. Everything is an expansion of Narayan's energy, just as those who are greedy see everything as a source of money making, and those who are lusty see everything as being conducive to sex. The most perfect devotee, Prahlada Maharaj, saw Narayan even within the stone column. So this is an interesting verse. Narayanam dhira. A sober person, a sane person, will see that everything is related. Pasyanti parama artinaha. That the purpose of everything is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But, and the example is that wealthy people will see everything. How can I make money? Just like a Vaishya, they go somewhere and they see, this is nice. In my country, I could sell this for so much. Let me buy some. Then he goes back in his country. He says, oh, in the other country, this will be very nice. It can earn me so much money. Everything is money. Or as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, that a lusty man will see every woman as lusty. Because that's his vision. So, but it's interesting that this particular verse is quoted by Lalita in Rupa Goswami, Lalita Madhava. And she says the opposite. She says, she's talking about Krishna. And she says, Krishna, he's simply interested, of course she doesn't speak about the money part so much. She speaks about the lusty man. He sees everything. He sees every woman as the object of his desire. And she says, therefore, everything within the creation of Narayan, he simply sees as an opportunity to exploit young women. That's her vision. Lampataha, as we recite in Dikshastakam. So interesting. When you see things in terms of tattva, you see it in a certain way. When you see things in terms of rasa, everything has a different perspective. This is Krishna's perspective. So just finish so Prahlada Maharaj, his Mahabhagavat vision, when he looked at the column, when Hiranyakashipu struck that column with his fist, he said, you see, where's your God here? And he said, that Prahlada Maharaj said, oh yeah, he's there. I see him. And he did see him. Not that he was saying, if we see a pillar here, we'll think, yeah, okay, yes, Krishna is within the atom, within the pillar. We'll see some philosophical analysis according to what we've learned. But Prahlada Maharaj was seeing him. He was seeing. So this is the difference between theoretical understanding and realization. We have to come to the point of realization. Not that we can become very expert in philosophical analysis. Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is just the beginning. And then we can impress everyone with our intelligence. Intelligence is an obstacle in devotional service. We can use it with purified intelligence by reading Srila Prabhupada's books. If you do service, that purifies your senses. If you chant the holy name, that purifies the mind. You read Shastra, that purifies the intelligence. And then we can understand reality. If all these three levels, which we find in the Gayatri Mantra, Brahma Gayatri, 3 levels, sensorial, mental, and intellectual. We have to go beyond it to the level of the spirit soul. And then we have to understand the spirit soul as servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is the duty. So, Srila Prabhupada continues. This does not mean, however, that we must accept the words Daridra Narayan, which have been manufactured by some unscrupulous person. Srila Prabhupada, many times he spoke about this. Daridra Narayan, and then they have Goat Narayan, that, you see a goat, so there's Goat Narayan, Pig Narayan. Prabhupada gave one lecture. He said, so the Supreme Lord is so bored that he has to come as a pig. Otherwise, he said, this is the biggest insult. You think that the Lord has to come and experience pig life, goat life, human life, this life, that life, and then he'd be otherwise. So what is their anyone who says this, what is their conception of the spiritual world? Must be a very boring place. So boring that I have to become a pig to enjoy. Is that very, very insulting? It's insulting of Vaikuntha. Big insult. That Vaikuntha is such a boring place that I have to come and be a pig and a goat and a human and a fly and a mosquito. And then I become realized and I can become Brahman, with no activity. Otherwise, through miserable activity, I will become a particle with no activity. So, it doesn't sound very wonderful. But some people seem to like it. Actually, the majority of people like this philosophy. Because personal philosophy, just like here in India, you see a stop sign, nobody stops. In the West, because the police are very heavy, you stop for the stop sign because you see the person behind it. But if there's no person behind it, nobody cares. So the Mayavadis, they don't want to see this person, Krishna, because person can chastise. Energy cannot chastise, but a person can chastise. Energy, you just become expert how to manipulate it, and then I become Narayan. That's their understanding. So I become a very good exploiter of material energy and of knowledge, and then I become the Supreme. So this is a very horrible understanding. One who actually envisions Narayan everywhere makes no distinction between poor and rich. To single out the Daridra Narayans or poor Narayan and reject the Dhani Narayan or rich Narayan is not the vision of a devotee. Rather, that is the imperfect vision of materialistic persons. So, and interesting, I wanted to read one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is very interesting. This is one of the most instructive chapters of the 11th Canto, 2nd chapter, where the Yogendras, they begin to explain to Nimi the science of Krishna consciousness. So, one very beautiful verse, which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said is the essence of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, my spiritual master taught me this verse, Evam Vrataswa Priya Nama Kirtya. One who makes it one's purpose in life, Evam Vrata, just like it says here in this verse, that is the only goal, Ekanta Bhakti, the only goal in life. So one who does this, according to Ishvara Puri, and according to the Bhagavatam, Chatanurago Dutachitta Uchchai, immediately they feel affection for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and their heart melts. And then, Satyata Rodita Rauti Yanmada Unmada Vanriyate Lokabahya. Then one begins to smile and feel anger at material energy. Why is this material, these modes of material nature? No, and feels spiritual agitation and begins to laugh like a madman. And then he dances without considering the opinion of others, dances like a madman. So after saying this, then the next verse is the same thing that we're seeing here. I won't read the Sanskrit, I'll just read the translation. A devotee should not see anything as being separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Ether, fire, air, water, earth, the sun, and other luminaries, all living beings, the directions, trees, and other plants, the rivers and the oceans, whatever a devotee experiences, he should consider to be an expansion of Krishna. Thus, seeing everything that exists within the creation as the body of the Supreme Person, as the Supreme Lord, Hari, the devotee should offer his sincere respects to the entire expansion of the Lord's body. So this vision is there throughout the Bhagavatam. And then, of course, he goes on to explain the Mahabhagavat devotee of the Lord. So, this wonderful vision, Jiva Goswami speaking about this type of vision, he quotes Krishna, Ya Nisha Sarvabhutan Nam, that which is night for the living entities, is tasyam jaghat samyami, is daytime. Otherwise, people want to enjoy this world. That is their daytime. Yasyam jagriti, bhutani. That all the living entities, their daytime is enjoy this world. So we have to make sure that this becomes our nighttime. Srila Prabhupada said that when we preach Krishna consciousness, he gave the example. He said, just like when you go fishing, you want to catch the big fish, but if the fish is too big, then it pull you in the water. So you can't get pulled into the water. So what Prabhupada was saying, that when we preach, we want to help people, so we may try to relate to them and relate to their situation in the material world, but don't get pulled in the water. Just like one of our very, very great devotee, I won't mention his name, but he was a great devotee. So he started a community in the U.S., and he said, I want all of you to live like the people in this country and show them how to be Krishna conscious. So everyone said, okay. So they got everybody, all the Grihas got a nice house and everything. But then he saw that they were becoming like, instead of attracting the materialistic people, saying, I have a house like you, but I'm fully Krishna conscious, they were becoming attracted to be like them, getting pulled into the water. And so, therefore, we don't associate with materialistic people. We give them association. Not that we think we're puffed up and we think, oh, I'm a great devotee and they're, scum, karmi scum, and therefore I will enlighten them. No, we think, I have received this wonderful gift of Krishna consciousness from my Guru Maharaj, from the Parampara. Let me share it with others. No, I have no qualification. They're more qualified than me. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're in Maya, and because they're in Maya, they're supposed to do what they're doing. But I'm a devotee and I'm in Maya. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. No. by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, I have been given this Vaishnava culture. But I'm still attracted to Maya. And therefore, they're more advanced to me. But because I have received this wonderful gift from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our parampara, therefore, let me offer it to them. And that's the essence, the secret of preaching. That's the secret, just like it says here. This is the only goal of life, giving this Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada's first quote is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because the Chaitanya Charitamrita is the essence of what we are giving to everyone. It is the essence. And that essence is, as Srila Prabhupada says in one purport in Antya Lila, the mission of this society for Krishna consciousness is to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first desire is, I want to experience the love of Srimati Radharani. No, that Radha Krishna Pranaya Prikritir Hladini Shaktir Asmat. That, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to experience the Hladini Shakti. But his mission is to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. His mission is not to experience, because otherwise everyone will become a sahajiya. No. Otherwise, if we try to think that this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here to teach us this, no. He came Krishna Prema Pradayate, to give us Krishna Prema. But that is a gradual process. Therefore we need Bhagavad Gita, Ishupanishad, nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction. And this is the sambandha. This is sambandha will allow us to come to the stage of abhideya. And in that abhideya stage, we can practice Krishna consciousness. This is the duty of the Diksha Guru, to give this sambandha gyan. Then the Diksha Guru or the Shiksha Guru, or both, give abhideya. And then prayojana. When you practice properly under the guidance of the Vaishnavas, then you come to the point of prayojana. And this verse is glorifying Prahlada Maharaj, because he has attained this. Yat sarvatra tat ikkanam. He has fully realized that Krishna is everywhere. And he sees Krishna everywhere. He doesn't see anything else except for Krishna. But so therefore, Srila Prabhupada said in the purport, I will conclude with this, that he does not exactly see their forms. He sees living entities. Even Krishna deals with this in Bhagavad Gita. He says that a learned person, Brahmani Gavi Hastini, sees the Brahman, the cow, the elephant, the dog eater, sees them all with the same vision. And this is how we can understand how advanced am I. Am I seeing this, or am I just understanding it? Understanding is good. We want to understand it, but then we have to come to the point of seeing it. Not that we think because I understand a little philosophy, I'm a great devotee. No. Actually, if you're a great devotee, you never think you're a great devotee. And if you're a neophyte, you'll think, I'm a great devotee. So if anyone thinks they're a great devotee, you can understand where you're at. But if we can think that I'm just surviving by the mercy of the Vaishnava, then we have some hope. So these are some thoughts on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Prahlada Maharaj. And why does it say this? Because his friends were playing, and he was fully realized. His friends were playing, but by his elevated position, he gave them Krishna consciousness, which thoroughly agitated Hiranyakashipu. And then we come to the next two chapters. So thank you all very much for your kind attention. Any comment or question? Yes. Microphone is coming.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for the beautiful Krishna Katha. Maharaj, I wanted to ask that you mentioned in the lecture that there is a difference between theoretical realization and theoretical understanding and realization. And so Maharaj, I wanted to understand that how can we come to the level of realization from theoretical understanding? What is the process?
Do what you're doing right now, every day. Hear the Bhagavatam every day. Chant your rounds nicely every day. Trying to hear every name of Krishna. And if we do this and we serve the deities are not here for as an exhibit of beauty, as an artistic creation. They are here to accept our service. So if we come to the temple with that idea, how can I serve their lordships? And especially, if we are in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how can I serve Gaura-Nitai? Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said in Los Angeles, do not leave Gaura-Nitai in the temple. They don't like to stay in the temple. He said, take them in your heart and go out on Sankirtan. So if you do that, you will become realized.
Thank you.
And you don't become puffed up because you can distribute so many books. No. You distribute so many books only to enliven other devotees to distribute more books and to please Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Gauranga. No. Then it will happen. But it doesn't matter how long it will take. Utsaha nishchaya dhairyat. We are enthusiastic because we have been giving this enthusiasm by the association of the devotees and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and the acharyas. And then dhairya, we have faith and determination on the basis of that association. And dhairya, and I will nishchaya dhairya. I will patiently await. Tatenu kampam susamikshaman. I will patiently await whenever it comes. Because it's only mercy. It's just mercy that I'm receiving. And therefore mercy, you can't demand mercy. Of course, Narottam Das Thakur, he does demand mercy. He says, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, that please, you won't find anyone more needy than me of this mercy. So you must give it. Because otherwise, what is my hope? And even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met with Rupa and Sanatan, they said, my dear Lord, I know there's no hope for us, because even Jagai Madai were able to get your mercy, but we cannot get that mercy. But on the other hand, we cannot live without that mercy. And then they kept going back and forth. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please, you are breaking my heart with your humility. So we want to beg for that mercy.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Any other comment, question? Okay, looks like everyone's hungry. Prasadam time. Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Radha Parthasarati, Sri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, Sri Gaura-Nitai ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jai Gaura Premanand.